Rumble, young man, rumble.
Joseph Watson.
I'm honored today to have as my first guest John Grueling, President, CEO of the Will County Center for Economic Development. John, it's a pleasure to have you here with us.
It's good to be here, Larry.
My guest today is Will County Clerk Nancy Schultz-Boots, and she will explain the many duties of the County Clerk's office.
So take advantage of early voting, and I have 30 sites throughout the county. Call my office if you don't have the internet. You can go to my website and find the 30 sites that you can take advantage. Early voting starts January 11th, and it goes through January 28th.
Paul, I thought it'd be interesting to go over the last year of what we accomplished here. There's been a lot of things. I know one of the things was a major project for you was the $900,000 we got for the laptops.
Yes, our department was one of the original ones years ago that had computer systems in their vehicles. When that system went down and was outdated, we were left without those computers. It took us some time working with legislators and the Will County Executive's Office to get a federal grant, which gave us over $900,000 to supply the laptop computers for all our vehicles that are on the street, and along with automatic vehicle locators that we have put in the vehicles and the laptops also, in which we had our first save probably about 2 months ago on that. So it took a while to get that done, and we've been fortunate and able to obtain those funds and now put it out on the street.
You know, and I know that with that automatic locator, we had a little bit of a resistance from some of the guys thinking that it was Big Brother looking at them, but I think what you pointed out was...
Absolutely. They thought it was Big Brother. You know, you tried to impress upon them that a lot of them that were not on the department way back when, in 1985, when we had 2 auxiliary deputies that were shot and killed, and we were unable to locate for several hours. And then, of course, a deputy here a couple months ago jumped out of the car. He thought there was a child abduction in progress, was able to hit the panic alarm on his radio. Dispatch had to put to the vehicle locator, and we were able to locate him and send assistance. So it's a system that's well worth it, and I think it probably changed a lot of minds.
I know me and you would have liked it about 30 years ago when we had no portables and we were running around with nothing. I mean, we've come such a distance from the last 30 years to where we're at now.
I mean, back then there was no cell phones, no pagers, no
Right.
portable radios. and you probably wish that some civilian would take pity on you and call the Laraway station and said, your deputy might need a little assistance, he's on the ground. It's altogether different now, and the automation has made the job a lot easier.
Yeah, and one of the other big things that we had was the completion of the ADF, which we're up and running. Even with the budget problems that we're having, we still got that thing up and running, and something into the future.
What I've learned here recently, the ADF is the Adult Detention Facility. We speak in acronyms.
Yeah, true. And I apologize for that.
Yes,
it's not called the jail either.
No, we don't. It took us a while to get that going. It came in on budget. It came in on time. It expanded the facilities from a 320-bed jail to 1,035. And, of course, we had asked the county board to supply a core, being the kitchen, laundry, administration, medical, and booking, to handle 1,500. So in the future, all we got to do is add a couple pods, and we're still good to go. I mean, there's parts of the kitchen at the present time that we're not even utilizing because we don't need that space. So that's up and running, and that's taken a lot of pressure off the area police departments, our county court system, and even our own people to bring in people for the ADF.
And that's sort of in conjunction with what was it, about 6 years ago when we did the Crete substation out there. So, I mean, this really kind of completes this whole project that you really had in mind back in 2002 when you first got in office.
Yeah, that substation was a great help for anybody that we call out east of Harlem. I mean, it probably handles at least 10 police agencies out there, not counting the southeastern ones from Cook County that drop people off there instead of having us to go pick them up. So, yes, it has helped quite a bit. It took a lot of burden off of the ADF before we finished the expansion, and we're going to continue the process.
One of the other things that we did this year was, and really you kind of started this a number of years ago, that's with our computer forensics lab, which now is used by federal agencies, other countries. It's solved numerous crimes for us. Why don't you tell the viewers really how that got started? That was really way ahead of its time.
I was taken advantage of for that program, but it's turned out to be a good thing. One of our sergeants, who was what you would call a computer guru or geek,
sort of like the guys behind the cameras.
The guys here behind the cameras. He was given an offer to go to the FBI for 2 years to learn computer forensics. It was seen at that time an upcoming thing that was going to be needed in police work. I had several meetings with the FBI reference to that. They had told me that 2-year commitment, and upon completion he would return to our department. They would in turn give him all the equipment to perform that function, and at that time then we could start our own. Well, it turned out that the FBI had asked for a 1-year extension on that, which I approved. He then returned back to the department with all the equipment. We were able to set up our own forensics labs. We trained 2 other technicians to be able to work in that area. And then, of course, he then retires to the private sector, and now he's making lots of money. So.
Yeah, hey, you got to start somewhere.
So I got taken advantage of. However, we did get the computer forensics lab. It is used extensively by local police departments throughout this area in the States. It's also been used by the FBI when their work has been an overload for them. And we've been contacted, and we perform the services for, I think, several foreign countries.
And one of the things just recently, especially for a lot of our viewers out here, was a homicide that we had out in New Lenox. And if it wasn't for these guys in utilizing that capability, we may not have found this guy.
No, we were able to ping the telephone with that equipment. What had happened was that's what we were gearing for, but there was no signal coming from that cell phone. So obviously either the battery ran dead and or he turned it off. One of the investigators decided to stay over one night and said he would watch the screen. And without trying to explain it to the public exactly how this works, I mean, it was like watching an old World War II movie when you're in a destroyer waiting for the submarine ping on the sonar, and then all of a sudden there was this ping. And he called the troops out, and we were able to zero in on a tower, then the grid square, and then we found him sleeping in his car.